Okay, we have to take control back of this country by the people. And I don't mean, like taking up arms or any of that stuff. I don't mean protesting and rioting. What I mean is this: the politicians have slowly gobbled up power. While we were off, excuse me, doing our thing, living our lives behind our back, it's not Democrat, Republican, it's all of them. It's all of them. And they've been just getting more and more power. And then we saw that on steroids in 2020 with the pandemic. They couldn't wait to gobble up power and try and keep us locked down, keep full control of us. That's what they want. They won't release that power. They once they get the taste of that power, they won't let go. So we have to go back. We have to not go back. Go to kind of a quasi democratic government. What I mean by that is this: the original democracy, the one and only democracy in 507 BC, Athens, Greece. The way it worked was there was no politicians. Okay, they had about 200,000 people living in Athens, Greece at that time. They got 500 people that were hired just like a normal job to do basically the administrations of the daily government. One maybe someone's certain number of people in charge of the ports, in charge of agriculture, collecting taxes, infrastructure, on and on and on. And they were hired just like a regular job. They had no power to make law. They had no power to vote to go to war. No power to, build monuments, raise taxes, any of that. All that went to the people. They just did their normal administration now. Now, we can't really, the way things are right now, especially this huge country, we can't really go quite that way, but we can go kind of halfway. What I mean by that is for government workers, especially the federal government, to take the power away from them, you simply make them, they're no longer politicians. They cannot just make law anymore. They're done. Right? They can petition for a law, but they cannot make it. Because all they do is they sit back in the shadows and they just make all these laws. And they don't tell us, most of the time, what they are. We have to go figure out what they are. Do you understand? We have well over 6 million laws in America. 6 million. What the hell do we need 6 million laws for? And they all have little lawyer doublespeak written in, and that even lawyers have a hard time figuring out what are they saying? You and they're written like that for a reason. So even the people who are trying to read them and vote on them can't fully understand them, and they're pressured to vote, and so most of them are pressured to vote yes, and so they just vote yes. And sometimes it's afterward, then they realize, oh crap, I made a big mistake. I shouldn't have voted for this. Well, it's too late now. You already voted. So in order to avoid that, first of all, we don't need very many laws. Let's keep it real. We need the basics, and obviously, with our modern society, tech and whatever, we need certain laws for that. We need laws to protect wildlife and ecosystem and whatnot. But 6 million? No, not even close. 6,000 maybe. That's more like it. Okay, so what am I talking about? I'm talking about all the House, the President, Senate, all the swamp people. You're done. You're just administrators now. That's all your job is to do. To administrate the daily activities of the government to keep everything functioning properly, so that we have proper military, police, border security, CDC and FEMA and all that agricultural stuff, everything. And that's it. You don't get to sit down and make laws anymore and then tell us what to do. Okay? So anyone wants to put a law on the books, they need to do it how we, the citizens, have to do it. You have to get so many signatures, excuse me, through petitions to get it on the ballot, and then people vote on it. And of course, each state was going to have different laws because we're all different. So each state can make their different laws, but you need to do it in that same way where you don't have politicians making law. You have the people making law. I'll give you an example. In California, they came up in 1994 with the 3 strikes law for criminals. It was pitched to the people as you commit a violent crime, that's 1 strike, and because you have a strike, you get a few extra years. After doing that time, if you come out and you commit another violent crime, then the normal time you would get for that crime doubles because you now have 2 strikes. And after that, if you still haven't learned your lesson, and you commit another violent crime, a 3rd one, well, that's it. You get life in prison, automatic. Sorry for coughing. It turned out that wasn't actually what the law was. Written in there in the fine print was, after the 2nd strike, then anything, even a misdemeanor, could get you life in prison. So there was a famous case about a guy who had 2 strikes, and then he stole a slice of pizza. You know, the pizzerias where you can just get 1 slice. He just grabbed a slice and walked out. And he got life in prison for stealing a slice of pizza. Now, granted, he was a 3-time loser, not a nice guy, but he could have robbed them. Instead, he just took 1 slice because he was hungry. And they gave him life. People heard about this, said, no. They said, we don't want to get rid of the law. We just want it to be what you said it was supposed to be. So they got their couple million signatures, put it on the ballot. And people overwhelmingly, over 70% of the people voted to change the law to what they said it was going to be. 3 violent crimes, separate violent crimes. And guess what California did? They said, no, we're good. We're going to keep it. I mean, and you call this a democracy, and they literally, more than 70% of the population voted for a certain thing, and the government didn't like it, so they said, no, forget it. We don't care. We're just going to keep going how we're doing. So this is not a democracy. It's not even close. This is a quasi-dictatorship. It's really what we're living under. Okay, so, and the Greeks learned it the hard way back in 507 BC, because the reason why it didn't work was because the politicians lost their power. So they connived and tricked people into giving up their power and then took it back because they couldn't stand losing their power. So we need to take it from them. So basically what we need to do is every member of the House, the Senate, the President, Vice President, and all the little underlings under them, the swamp, fire them all. All of them, 100% across the board, you're all fired. You can never work in politics, in government, again, you're fired. And I think they should be under investigation to see if they've done crimes, taken bribes and different things like that. And if they have, then they need to be brought to justice. If they haven't, fine. Okay, then you just simply hire. Actually, those people aren't even needed. You already have the people set up for your infrastructure, your ports, and your, customs and border patrol and blah, 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 blah. You already have those people. That firing those people, that doesn't affect them, right? We don't actually need them. We really don't, if you think about it. Truly think about it and break it down, and you'll realize we don't need them. They only do us harm. They only do us harm. So once you get rid of them, now the power's back to the people. So anyone, like you can now, if you want to get rid of an old law, or if you want to add a law, or alter it, you go through a legal procedure, then you try and get your signatures, you put it on the ballot, excuse me again, and then if people like it in your state or in the whole government or country, they vote for it, and then it becomes law. And so we just need people in there so that anything becomes law, they do the physical work of getting it into the books to become official law, or change the law, right? Now that takes the power out of them, all their power is gone, and the power is back to the people. When this country started, the federal government had almost no power, almost nothing, and they were meant to have very little power. The vast majority of the power is supposed to go to the states. So that's what we need to do. Also, in the states, we need to do the same thing. So, governor, your state house, your state representative, fire them all. We don't need you. We don't need you. We really don't need you. All you do is bad. There's no good that comes out of you. Fire them all and do the same thing with each state. You already have your people in line to do all the real work. They're already there. They still keep their jobs. They do their normal job as prescribed. And then and then the people have the power. Now, of course, that's not going to fly. People they'll be confused. They don't want to know what I'm talking about. And then politicians will fight that tooth and nail because they don't want to lose their power. But we need to pull it out of their hands. We really need to pull it out of their hands. So I had made a video before about the political mess in this country on how to take it back. And that's, one thing I was saying was eliminate the party system completely. And just have individuals, not party system. You have all that tribalism that's gone. But I think even better is just no politicians at all. So, anyway, let me know what you think. I'm an older guy. I have some wisdom. I'm 55. I've been through a lot. I've traveled all over the country, all over the world actually as well. And I'm always been extremely good at psychology, philosophy. I go out and I meet people. I talk to people. I brainstorm with people of all different races. And I've been doing that since I was young. So I think, I've got a pretty good handle on it, on how to correct some stuff. And then, of course, one of the main things is communication. In all aspects of life, you have to have good, solid communication. Too many issues come about because of lack of communication, misunderstandings. Each culture has different mannerisms, different meanings about certain things, hand gestures, eye gestures, things I'll give you an example. I'm Greek. In Greece, if you do this to somebody, that means this. It means the middle finger. That's what that means. Now, if you get somebody in Greece who somehow doesn't know that, I'm pretty sure everybody knows the middle finger. But for example, if you got somebody, an older person from a little village, and he came over here and someone did this to him, he's ready to fight you because he thinks you just give him the finger. You know what I'm saying? But that's just a small little taste of how, people things they can be misunderstood from one culture to the next because things are so different. So we all need to get to know each other, get to know each other's backgrounds, a little bit of their history, their general culture, their religion, and then you'll have a better understanding of who they are and why they do things the way they do. That doesn't mean you're going to be friends. You don't have to be friends, but it'll go a long way for you not to be enemies, Anyway, I think I went on a little bit off target, but I'm just trying to think of ways that we can fix this country. I mean, there's always going to be problems in a huge country with people from all over the world. But I mean, Jesus, I mean, we've gotten so wrong. Some people I know have purposely led people down different ways, to the deep to the right, deep to the left, or in different radical ways. But you got to think for yourself, people. You got to don't. If someone's pushing you or pulling you some way, you got to pull back and start thinking. Well, what's in it for this person? Why are you pushing me to do this or to think like that? What's in it for you? You know, and what's the result? What will the results be for me if I do it? So anyway, just think about it. Thanks.